Hello, and welcome to a mini documentary on the Johnstown Flood of 1889. In the spring of 1889, the world was rocked when news came of a flood through a valley that very few knew the name of. This is the flood of the Conemaugh Valley, what the world has come to know as the Johnstown Flood of 1889. Through survivors' accounts, we can gain a better understanding of the flood before it hit the town. Alongside that, recognizing the relief efforts helps to bring attention to what happened in the days, weeks, and months after the disaster. The construction of the dam began in 1840 and would continue until 1853, when the dam finally was deemed ready for operation. This dam was originally meant to be a reservoir for the Pennsylvania Mainline Canal, which closed in 1863, only 10 years afterwards. There was no reason to keep the dam maintained after that. Finally, after 36 years of disrepair, the dam broke and let loose a torrent of water. It was a rainy Friday for the growing city centered in south-central Pennsylvania. The day started like any other. People went to work, ran errands, and took care of their children. But it would not end like any other. For this was May 31st, 1889, and the city was Johnstown. The dam broke somewhere between 3:10 and 3:15 p.m. It released 20 million tons of water and sent it flying down the 14 miles of the Conemaugh Valley and into Johnstown at a speed of 40 miles per hour by the time the wave hit the town. One account states that the highest flood line was recorded at 89 feet above the normal river level. This was more than likely upstream from Johnstown, as the Johnstown City Hall building has the 1889 high water mark set at 21 feet high. Some of the best accounts for this disaster come from the employees of the Pennsylvania Railroad, what will be referred to as the Pensy from now on. Their accounts really help to show what happened that fateful day. Conductor Easton was the conductor on the Second Day Express, as in the second express train of the day, both coming from Pittsburgh. When asked about his travel time on the Second Day Express, Easton said, quote, "Between Lockport and Lackhole, there was a small landslide there, and we were detained there probably 10 minutes until the division force got it out of the way." End quote. With regards to the flood, Easton reported that, quote, "all the passengers got out of Second Day Express except 4, and they were saved. If the passengers of Second Day Express had all remained in their cars, they would have all been saved, as the cars were not washed away at all. They were on the rail yet after the flood. The water got up only about 2 inches in the floor of the sleeping cars. The people were drowned, lost their lives trying to escape. If they had stayed in the cars, their lives would have been saved." End quote. These trains would end up going in the East Conemaugh yard, and its yardmaster survived and gave his account. In reference to the first and second day express trains, East Conemaugh yardmaster J.C. Walkinshaw said that he had moved the trains to the highest track, quote, "about 2 hours," end quote, before the rush of water. While sitting up in his tower, he claimed that, quote, "I heard a whistle blow, and I knew it was the engine that was up there." End quote. The engine was east of Conemaugh, closer to the dam. Quote, "She gave 4 or 5 longer blasts. That meant to me that there was danger. I jumped off my chair, and as soon as I heard the second blast, I ran out and hollowed for every person to go away off the road and to get on high ground. I started up the track. Just as I left the office, I saw the rear end of the work train backing around the curve. I started up toward the train, and the minute I saw the train stop, I saw the engineer jump off and run for the hill. Just at that minute, I saw a large wave come around the hill. When I saw it, it was a body of water in a swell, apparently to me about 4 feet higher than the track where I was standing. As soon as I saw it come, every person was making for the hill." End quote. The day expresses were supposed to arrive by 10:34 a.m., but they did not. They arrived late. Agent C.P. Daugherty said that, quote, "I concluded that there was an obstruction, and by going to the telegraph office, I learned that there was trouble west, but couldn't learn the cause." End quote. After that, he was asked about a break at Lilly. To this, Daugherty responded that, quote, "Yes, sir, I learned of that because I was exerting myself to get the information for the parties who were wanting to take trains in both directions, and I was frequently back and forth from the telegraph office for that purpose. And what information I could get, of course, I advised them." End quote. The Pensy had telegraph office connections for all of the surrounding area, and that was how they learned about the disaster that was coming down the 14 miles of the Conemaugh Valley. Agent Daugherty said when discussing a message being received, said, quote, I am not positive about it, but I think I can give you nearly the wording of it. From all information we can get from the South Fork Dam, it is running over at the west side and the middle, and is now becoming very dangerous. That is about the wording of it, and near as I can recollect. I understood that he got the message to Mineral Point to direct, and Operator Paul informed me that the operator at Mineral Point had started a man, or agreed to start a man at once to carry the message to AO Tower. I then left the office. And quote, Agent F.S. Deckert, after receiving a dispatch from an unknown party, he claimed that, quote, we notified people as we saw them, but they did not pay any attention to it. It was no use. We didn't consider it any use to send it over town. I didn't send it over because I knew how it would be received by all the parties. I saw a party the next day, I think it was, who said he got the warning I sent over town. I happened to be down at the landing when he came over in a boat, just the next day about the middle of the day. End quote. The use of these survivors' accounts cannot be understated. Through just these couple of gentlemen, we get such a great connection of what truly transpired in the East Conemaugh Yard. Now, this is not an overview of all of Johnstown. This is strictly within the East Conemaugh Yard. But the horror that these people experienced, the people on the Second Day Express, the foreman, the conductor, the freight agents, all of them, they all experienced these tragedies. And they all came, and really, thanks to them, we can record and have that knowledge. And the use of the survivors' accounts is nothing if not substantially crucial in trying to understand the impact of the flood of May 31st, 1889. By midnight on June 1st, 1889, a total of 2,200 people had died, including 99 entire families and 396 children. 1,600 homes were destroyed, and there was over $17 million in property damage done by the floodwaters. Within a week, relief efforts were coming to the stricken city. The largest was the American Red Cross, which arrived in Johnstown on June 5, 1889. This would be the first time the Red Cross helped during a peacetime disaster. The Red Cross focused on providing shelter and building hotels. For these shelters, the primary tenants were homeless merchants and businessmen. Soon after the Red Cross's arrival was the Philadelphia Red Cross that helped with food. Alongside the Red Cross's help, $3,742,818.78 was pulled together to support the Johnstown relief effort. Though this was a true disaster, people rallied around Johnstown and came to help. Through the accounts of survivors, primarily Pensy employees, the events of that day are remembered. That rainy spring day will not be forgotten anytime soon. Thank you.